Hello, Casey for interwebkaiju here. It's been a while since I've done one of these random quick review roundups, but honestly, maybe making this a monthly thing is a good idea. Up first, we've got 2009's Night of the Demons remake. The soundtrack, both at the party and the score in the background throughout, are great. There's some cool ideas, though some are lessened by CG that I wouldn't say looks bad, but it does look off even when put up against the rest of the movie. It's entertaining enough. Popcorn. Think the beginning of Scream 2, but long before and with plenty of cheesy fun props. I laughed a bit, cringed at some dialogue a bit, but mainly was just there for the ride. Not great, but not bad, though far from scary. TurboKid. I wasn't feeling this movie until the first fight happened, and it was great. Not all the effects are good, but they get good ideas through, and honestly, a lot of them are. Back to the ideas, this movie is very imaginative with its deaths and other injuries, usually brought to life through practical effects. At one point, a man's intestines are tied so when a bike is pedaled, they'd be slowly ripped out. Wonderful. And those characters I didn't care about at all at the beginning ended up being very likable. TurboKid is a fun time, would recommend. The Backlot murders. The acting is bad and the meta dialogue is pretty painful. There's a couple of lines that were funny, but most of the comedy falls flat. The twist, I guess it's supposed to be a twist, is something we've seen before in much bigger movies done much better. The movie's ending was kind of a welcome surprise. The usage of old sets was a good idea and it works sometimes. Kills are okay. Most are quick cuts, but there's some decent ideas and gore effects at times. Oh, and there's tons of tank tops bouncing around. The idea and outlines are fine, and if the Backlot Murders was made with or by other people, it could have actually been quite good. All Hallows Eve. The second story is pretty lame. Absolutely loved how Art the Clown is always silent, even when being stabbed. The overarching story is fine. Gretel and Hansel. The story, characters, and pacing are pretty lackluster, but thankfully, 70% of the scenes just look phenomenal. Everything is competent, but it's just really not a fun time. Pieces. Movie's pretty confusing, but that's the best pro. At no point was I going to turn it off and not figure out what the hell was going on, though I still have some unanswered questions. There's some pretty great gore effects, and the movie feels pretty unique, at least to me. Would recommend if you're a fan of slashers. Mayhem. A bit too close to current world situations for comfort, but this is a fun ride with great acting, great visuals, and pretty catchy elevator music. Also, always down for Samara Weaving, fucking people up. Horuko the Goblin. The song scenes are effectively creepy, and where else are you going to find disembodied heads given insect legs? The disembodied heads' faces are so good. I also like the stop motion monsters. The visuals are what really elevate the film. The movie isn't always entertaining, but it is unique and highly memorable. Willy's Wonderland. Fight scenes are too shaky, sparks and oil effects don't look great, lots of exposition drops, and the trailer gave away a bit too much, but the actors playing the robots do wonderful jobs. I did audibly laugh at some parts, and as bland of a character Nick Cage is playing, he plays him consistent the entire time. Plus, gets in a good dance scene that somehow doesn't feel out of place. So, kudos to him for all that. Aside from the previously mentioned fight scenes, the movie looks really good visually. Oh, and I dig the birthday song a lot. Somehow a sort of feel-good movie. Would recommend. Cupid, 2020. Cupid himself looks good and the music is very well done. Killing with cards and cookie cutters were great ideas. The acting is B tier, but the script is the bigger problem. The arrows, the lack of force when shot, the flimsy change in direction. I wouldn't really recommend. My Bloody Valentine 1981. Pretty solid film, no real complaints about it, but the only thing that really stands out for me is the human heart in the heart-shaped candy box, and of course its Valentine and mine themes. My Bloody Valentine 2009. Practical gore effects are good and plentiful. CG ones are bad, but I'm not watching in 3D, so that could be the problem. Always nice to see Tom Atkins. There's some good kills, actually a lot of small cool ideas. Ackles is acting a bit too hard and some of the main plot points are dumb, but I still prefer this to the original. Thanks for watching.